हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः परमगुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीमदानन्दतीर्थभगवत्पादाचार्योऽपि नमो नमः। नारायण परिपूर्णगुणार्णवाय विश्वोदयस्थितितोलयन्नियतिप्रदाय ज्ञानप्रदाय विबुधासुरसौख्यदुःखसत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते। यो विप्रलिम्बविपरीतमतिप्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुवि तत्त्ववादं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरथाय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे। सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Friends, now we will commence with the Shantipata of the Isavasyaupanishad, otherwise known as Yajnaya Upanishad. Swayambhu Manu Rishihi, Chandas Anushtup or Drishtup, Devata Yajnaya Vishnu Amsaha. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Friends, last week we just briefly discussed about the mantra 4, which talks about the evolution of the beings after going through the first three stages of Nivritti, Pravritti, and the last one not to fall into the negative aspect of the karma. The fourth mantra gives a sort of a detailed plan how to get into the mode in which we can pursue our realization of the God and do our karmas the best possible way to get without any bandhanas from the Almighty. The first three mantras were in Anushtup Chanda, which is 32 letters, made of 4 padas of 8 letters each. The fourth mantra is in Drishtup. This is 44 letters, 4 padas of 11 each. In this context, we need to have the chandas used in this particular Upanishad. There are 3 chandas that has been used in this Upanishad. One is Anushtup, another is Drishtup, which we talked about just about a few minutes back, and the third one is Jagati. Jagati is having 48 letters, 4 padas of 12 each. All the 3 of them are having a significance. They are following the prescription given for the chandas in Samhitas and Brahmanas in the Vedas, and this has got the specific requirement while doing the yajna. When the Pratakala yajna in the morning, when the yajnas are being done, certain yajnas which are to be done only at the morning time, it will be having Anushtup Chanda, that is 4 padas of 8 each in 32 letters. We can also remind ourselves that Gayatri is also Anushtup, but it has got 3 padas of 8 each, that is 24 letters. And we also saw the significance of the 24 letters and the 10 the padas which were given in there and all, and the Mula mantra for the entire Vedas. The Pratakala Yajna is being done to propitiate the Vasudevatas. There are 8 Vasudevatas. Therefore, the padas of 8 is the significance for this particular Anushtup Chanda, the four Vasudevatas are Aap, Dhruva, Soma, Bhu, Anala, Anila, Pratyush, or Prabhash, Akash. And basically, these 8 aspects, Vasu aspects, are invoked in the morning. As the day begins, they are the one who have to commence, and who will be most, because most of the time, the milk will be used for offering, and they are the ones, who will be starting the day with the commencement of the yajna in appropriate way, offering whatever is prescribed, mostly milk. The second is Madhyaniha yajna. For Madhyaniha yajna, Drishtup Chand is used. This is 44 letters, 4 padas of 11 each. The 11 has the significance of 11 Rudras. The Rudras are being invoked during the Madhyaniha. They are very active. They are the protectors. They are valiant and powerful forces. They need to carry us through the entire day. That's why during Madhyaniha they are being invoked. The 11 Rudras are Kapali, Pingala, Bhim, Virupaksha, Vilohit, Shastra, Ajapata, Abhirbuddhinya, Shambhu, Chand, or Bhava. All the 11 Rudras have also other names like Manyu, Manu, Mahamsa, Mam, Mahadeva, Ritvaja, Ugraretas, Bhava, Kama, Vamadeva, Bharatavrata. These are alternate names. Shiva is one of the main Rudras, who is the important Rudra during the Madhyaniya Kala Yajna, and he is one of the prime Rudra who is being invoked first, and then all other Rudras are being invoked. In Sandhya Kala, the chandas used is Jagati. Jagati is 48 letters, 4 padas of 12 each. The significance of the 12 is the 12 Adityas. 12 Adityas who are the sons of Vivasvan or Aditi, and they are the one who will be taking us through the end of the day and give full bliss and prepare us to for the next day once the yajna is for the day. These 12 Adityas are Aryaman, Indra, Trasta, Varuna, Data, Bhagu, Prajanya, Mitra, Pusha, Vivasvan. They are the 12 Adityas. Vamana Avatara is also being taken as one of the Adityas, but Vamana being the Vishnu Avatara and he is the chief, he will not be coming across with all the 12 Adityas, he is the chief. So with this particular prescribed form of invocation, all these chandas has been used. Most of the chandas in Isavasyaupanishad, they are in Anushtup Chanda. The few of the chandas, they are in Trishtup. And few of the chandas, a couple of chandas are there in Jagati as well. When they have to give the elaborate description within these couplets for the important part of the Upanishad, they have used this Trishtup and Jagati. Now we will go to the mantra number 4. We can take the mantra once again. Anejadekam manaso javiyo nainadeva apnuvam purvamarshat taddavato anyan anyeti tishtat tasminnapo matarisva datati. Last week we briefly looked into the mantras aspect. First we looked into Matarishva. Matarishva, because the last last word we took it, Matarishva Datati. Matarisva is the cosmos. The cosmos is not an empty place. It is filled with the air, that is prana. The prana is the one who creates all the pranis, like human beings, animals, plants, everything. Everything need the prana to survive and sustain. And he's the life giver, life force, for the entire beings here. And this particular prana is the one finally datati. He's the one, is the mediator. He's the one between the primordial power and the human beings for the submission of the efficacy of the karma to the highest power and determine the further course for this jiva, whether it has to take the rebirth or whether it has to go through certain other modes based on its karma, vasanas, as well as its bank account. The first letter, now we'll go to the first letter, which says Anejadekam. Anejat is unmoving, untrembling, it's constant, stable. It is the Almighty. Almighty pervades the entire universe. He is here, He is there, He is everywhere. Even when you can't imagine something is existing like another planet or another galaxy and all, He is still there. He is pervading everywhere. He is not movable and He is always there. And exactly a contradictory sentence follows which says Manoso Javiyo. He is also faster than the Manas. Manaso Javiyo. He overtakes the Manas. He runs faster than the Manas. Normally, Manas is supposed to have the, from human point of view, from the living being's point of view, faster at any point of time. Vayuveha, Manoveha. That is how it has been described. If you think you were in US about 10 years before or 15 years before, you think of US, immediately your mind goes there and immediately it connects to the persons who you are interacting, who are in your memories now, and what are all the things you have taken and all. But then before that, the Almighty is already there. He is already pervaded, whether it is San Francisco, Pittsburgh, or Ohio, or anywhere else. He has been omnipresent everywhere and all. So once He is an omnipresent and everywhere, before you reach, He is already there. That is the idea it gives. And another one it gives is, whatever you try to do, you are overall operating within the control of the Almighty. You may be fast, you think you are doing everything within the limited framework in which you are operating, but the Almighty is operating still faster because He is the controller. He is controller of the entire universe outside you. He is also your internal controller. When you as an internal controller, He is controlling all your senses, your sense organs and senses. They will be functioning as we discussed last week. When you see, it's not exactly you are seeing the object as it is. The light falls on the object. It is reflected onto your lens. The lens sends the signal to the brain. The brain processes based on the memory and the impressions you have stored, and it gives you a command as to it is an object or a person whom you are going to deal with. And likewise here also has got the drums. The vibration comes and hits the eardrums, and then it gets the sensors get the signal. It is being sent to the brain, processed, and then it converts into the language appropriately which you are known to you, to say what is being said and what is being heard and what you have to do now, whether you have to say something or whether you have to listen, or all those commands are coming. Likewise, all the organs, all the equipments of ours is at a total command and control of the primordial power. So when this primordial power is controlling all those things, what happens? That's what the next word says. Naina Deva Apnuvam Purvam Arshat. All these the your devatas who are controlling the organ, even when they when who are in total command of yours, even they can't take over, because still it is being controlled by them, controlled by the primordial power. So devas are operating each organ. They have been given a specific each organ, and each anga is given a devata, and that devata is doing its job as given by the primordial power. The primordial power is the controller. He is operating. So even they cannot be overtaking it and all. The concept given is whatever you must be doing, the entire thing will be operating under command and control, as well as the niyam set by the primordial power. So, when this niyam is set and all, how we get into this niyam? For instance, the upasana is one of the important karmas which we have to do in our performance of the karma. Upasana and karma is also a set of upasana. When we do, in for instance, the morning when we take the bath, first thing what you do before you start anything, I think you spend few minutes before you are doing some puja or some meditation or some offering and all. For that, what first you do? You sit, in the place in the puja room or whatever the allocated place, or the meditation, whatever you are doing is. When you are doing it, first thing you are supposed to be doing to do the upasana properly, to meet the requirements of this particular sloka, is sthira shukam asanam. Whatever be the position, you should sit comfortably. In the sense, because you don't have to do Padmasana, because you may not, because nowadays we don't have the ability to squat. We have forgotten along our lifetime, because we have started using the dining table for our food. We are no longer sitting on the ground, and we are also using all the Western toiletries and all those things. Our ability to squat has come out, and most of us do. I do have a problem, and I do have a knee problem, and I have had a surgery, and all those things. I can't sit. Even when we go to a mata or temple and all, we are looking for, because when we have to take the Tirtha Prasada or food, whether the table and chair is available. Nowadays, you are finding more table and chairs in the matas as well as the temples, since most of us, we don't have the ability to squat. Therefore, you can sit in whatever way. You can sit in a chair. Earlier, we used to sit on a manai or, the Krishnanjana or Vyagranjana. Krishnanjana, Vyagranjana is being used only by sannyasis, because it is those who have got the Vairagya, they only can sit on that. Krishnanjana is supposed to protect you from the evil forces from the ground. Unnecessary, it's not evil forces, undue forces which are going to disturb you during the meditation. But nowadays you can't even use Krishnanjana because it is prohibited, and I think the Wildlife Act, is in play. And if you have a Krishnanjana also, someone will come and ask where did you get it and where it has been poached. We can't go into all those things. We can sit in a chair or in a stool or whatever you have got arrangement to sit. You sit comfortably, and your body should be sthira. When your body has to be sthira, your lower part of the body, that is between your groins, will have to be straight. That part of the body has got particular function for that. That particular part of the body is called Muladhara, root chakra is there, which is operating there. And that particular Muladhara, that controls your excreta systems, your metabolism, part of your sensual desires, all those things are being controlled. Just above that, below the navel, you have Swadhisthana. That Swadhisthana chakra, which is with that portion of it, which controls the pancreas, which generates insulin, because we're diabetic, that is a very important part of it. And that one also controls part of the metabolism as well as some immunity, some part of the immunity down. Just above that is Manipura, that is on the navel. It does have control on immunity as well as adrenal gland. When you are emotional, your adrenal flows and it controls that it is there. And just above that is the heart chakra, what we call it Anahata. It has got the thymus gland inside. The function of the thymus glands, this chakra controls the function of the heart, lungs, movement of all the sort of immunity around there, and the metabolism of the heart and lung and entire structure. So once you go still up, it is in our neck. That is an area where we have got the gland thyroid. That is called Vishuddhi. Thyroid and parathyroid. Parathyroid is a function of thyroid. Those things, they control your thyroid function, whether it is in line, it is in sync with the functioning of the body. It is Vishuddhi. Just above that, when you come, the third eye, what you call in between the two eyes, that is called Ajna Chakra or third eye. It controls the pineal gland, and pineal gland is got an important function. It just controls, the functioning of your the internal your sleep and your body movement and the body's balance. When you are in a meditative stage and when you are able to reflect anything and all, it is the main third eye which gets internally, the internal eye, when it opens, it is the function of the pineal gland, the third eye, which makes you to open your internal. When your external eyes are closed, physical eyes are closed, the internal eye will take you into the light and the further meditative path which you'll have to follow. Just above that, it also has a function to take care of the pituitary gland. Just above that, it's Sahasrara, the hypothalamus, where it is getting into the whole. Finally, you get the effect of all the chakras. When the Kundalini is supposed to be rising from the bottom to the top till Sahasrara, the eternal bliss or the final bliss, when you will be getting it, it is the Sahasrara which is coming into action and which will tell you how you have really got into those things, how you are going to rather deal with it. Once you have stabilized your body, as we call it, Sthira Shukam Asanam, once you are steady and comfortable, the next thing you are doing is pranayama. Pranayama, when you do it, it will have to be rhythmic, cyclical, harmonic with your system. It's not that just because you have to rush for a meeting, you cannot be doing pranayama and cutting short on the procedure. You will have to take the air for certain seconds and the same amount of time you will have to spend on exhaling slowly. In between, there will be a mild hold up for a few seconds. This cycle will be rhythmic and continuously being done. This is the only exercise most of us do if we are doing puja or sandhya vandana and all those things. This in turn, once you do it properly, it keeps the entire body, mind and intellect, including prana, in a balance. If we don't do it properly, it causes some imbalance. Imbalance is the source of disease. Even there is one particular sutra is there. Tasmin sati swasa praswasa yargati vichedaha pranayamaha. Tasmin sati swasa. When swasa, when you took it, sati, it just takes the energy inside and hold it, and then you prasvasa, when you give it up, your gati, that rhythm, they say your gati, vichedaha pranayama. That you will have to necessarily follow this rhythmic cycle, if you really want the pranayama to help you and give some energy to the prana and to the whole body. This particular sutra is followed in yoga. This is one of the most important sutra for all those who are learning yoga will have to do that. And it also has given for different things Bahya, Abhyantara, Stamba, Vrittir, Deshakala, Sankhya. So these are all certain the thinking. Finally, these are all the ones which are going to give the prana through your nadis. We have got three nadis. Left is Ida Nadi, right is Pingala Nadi, and the center is Sushumna Nadi. These three nadis, they take the energy from the bottom to up and they keep the entire balance of the body, mind, and intellect. Ida Nadi and Pingala Nadi, they are having 36,000 notes. 36,000 notes is a sort of a calculated one. They are taking the energy through all these notes. 36,000, 36,000, 72,000. It is in this context only. In the second sloka, when we talked about Kurvan Yeveha Karmani Jijivishe Chatam Samaha, 100 years when we talked about, this Satam Samaha is 36,000 nights and 36,000 days. That makes a cycle of 100 years. That is the lifetime a person can achieve if he can keeps all his nadis properly, he does pranayama and his upasana. This is the normal lifetime someone would get. This is the idea it gives about. Normally what happens is this below the Muladhara chakra there is an inverted triangle. So if you read any of the Tantra manual, they will say, and that inverted triangle contains Kundalini. Kundalini is a very sleeping position with its heads downwards. It is like a snake. It's a metaphor. It's not a snake. This entire energy is coiled and its head is going towards it is seeing towards. When you do the pranayama, when you do the upasana, when these nadis are getting energized and they are taking this from Muladhara to Swadhisthana, Swadhisthana to Manipura, Manipura to Anahata, Anahata to Vishuddhi, Vishuddhi to Agya Chakra, and finally to Sahasrara, the Kundalini rises in your body upwards. When the Kundalini rises in your body, when it is in full bloom, when you achieve the whole thing, the Kundalini is supposed to rise up so slowly upwards and keep the entire balance, and it will open its 1,000 heads, Sahasrara. 1,000 heads, where you get. That's why you will see, the big jnanis, mahans, and all, like Jaitirtha, and he's having, that 1,000 heads, over the head that is being shown. Is that they have realized the Sahasrara. The Sahasrara is the ultimate bliss all of us are aiming at. The glands that we talked about there in the physical body, the chakras what we talked about is in this Stula, this Pranabha, the Prana Kosha. So we have got 5 koshas, 5 sheets covering us. One is Annamaya Kosha. By taking the food and energy, and we have got this body, we are in a shape, we have got the flesh, blood, and all other features. That is Annamaya Kosha. The prana, it gives us the life energy and the life force. We are alive. And the Agni, because the Agnihotra will do it when we consume the Agni, converts the food into energy and it gives to the body. The Pranamaya Kosha consists of Prana and Agni. And then we have got Manas. The Manas is one important aspect of the whole existence of us. Manas, as an entity, it does have 5 specific functions, like 5 departments we can say. Mana, Buddha, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta and Chetna. Mana is involving the Jagrati in dealing with the world. It gets all thoughts based on your everyday encounter, based on your memory you have accumulated, the experience you have accumulated over a period of time, all your thoughts, and based on your time to time desires, to time goal, and time to time your way of life, you get these desires, and this is being processed by the buddhi. Buddhi tells you, whether these thoughts are to be processed, and once it is processed, it tells you what to do, whether you have to act on that particular thought, whether you have to keep quiet, or whether you have to wait for some time and then act on that, or whether you should reject. This entire advice is given by the buddhi. It is an intellect. Then followed by this ahankara. Ahankara is not arrogance in normal sense as we would be calling it. It is the awareness of the self. See, if it is this NSR, Prabhu, or anyone, Raghavendra, we are all known by the names and we are identified with our body. And our interaction with the whole world is based on this particular identity of me with this body, the aham with the body. The ahankara is used in this sense. Basically, it is the one which gives you the identity for this entire performance of your karma and all other act. Chitta is the repository of all your experiences. It is a repository of experiences, so from your childhood to till date, and it would have processed and kept everything. Mostly, if whatever is relevant would have been stored there. And not only the current birth, it would have also have the repository of earlier births also. Earlier birth, Chitta is like a tape recorder. It has got everything associated with you and kept in a memory. Only by practice of Upasana, you never know how to play it unless you do Upasana. Once you do Upasana, once you do meditation, and then you are able to retrieve, depending upon the requirement, what is the action or what is the course you have to take. Because you would have had a similar experience elsewhere. Even in the earlier birth, if you had an experience, you would have got it. So we will certainly want, because it does have a very significance. Nowadays, people are doing, the past life regression to know. You are taking it into a sort of a subconscious mode and try to find out what has happened to you in the past life, and they are trying to cure some of the incurable, long-lasting, some mental anxieties, certain other issues. And it has been very helpful, but it's also very dangerous because everyone would like to know what was, who was me in the last birth. Was I a king or was I something else? Was I a good man or something? Because all these things will arise. The curiosity kills the person, and everyone will try to know. And that's why this past life regression also, they do it specifically only in the select cases where they are sure they will be able to identify and cure the present problem. And I had the opportunity to attend a few of the past life regression, not as a sort of seminar and discussions in quite a bit of places. It does have a role in that, and it also gives an indication how some persons will take a specific interest in the family of chartered accountants. Let us say grandfather is chartered accountant, father is chartered accountant, and they also expect the son to be a chartered accountant. But the son doesn't show any interest whatsoever. Maybe he's showing some interest in the anthropology, which is they will be wondering, well, why don't you be because CA like us, and because you will have to have a life, you have to get married and all those things. But then that fellow will have an interest in anthropology. But if you really go into that, it may be in the previous birth. He was one of the, he must have dealt with anthropology in some way. Maybe he was teaching, or maybe he was some important persons, important scholar in the anthropology, or he would have had some abiding interest in that particular subject. That's how they must have got that. That's why some family you find some person, everyone wants him to go to IIT and do something and all, but finally that fellow wants to do some veterinary science, or he wants to become a dentist or something else and all. These are all the past, the what we call vasanas. Again, it is, we will see how vasanas come from chitta and all. So it is again a processed information from the chitta. Based on that, these type of actions takes place. For instance, let us take the Abdul Kalam. Dr. Abdul Kalam, he was born in Rameswaram. It is as good as a village. Now, of course, we have got the facilities and all that. It is more of a village, about the town, small taluk town. There, not much of his family. None of them were doing. They were all doing some small business and fishing and all those things and all. The school where he was studying, the teacher who took extraordinary interest in the boys to understand the nature's phenomena, he used to take them to the seashore, make them feel the sunshine, and they make them feel how the water reacts, seawater reacts, and because how the minerals in the seawater gets into, and they also have the few principles of physics and the chemistry. He was able to demonstrate in a small way. Some Vaidyanath Sastri or some teacher, who was very great, the friend of Dr. Abdul Kalam. And finally, he became a missile man. He was totally an extraordinary person. But his background never suggests, he had all the opportunities around and so he could get it. It is basically Chitta. His Chitta, he must have been one of the sort of a scientist, in his earlier birth, and he would have had accumulated a lot of things. Nothing goes waste, as we discussed. Whatever you do, whatever you learn, whatever you develop, all of them are into your account. It is available to you the right point of time, and he will make it available to you. Accordingly, you can make up your life. This is one of the extraordinary aspects of finally the Chetna is the one finally that is the repository of the bliss. Whatever you get through your meditation and all those upasanas, they all get accumulated. You finally realize your meditation. So we talked about the Annamaya Kosha and Pranamaya Kosha. The internal aspects of manas and buddhi, the thoughts and the processing of thoughts, they are in the ahankara, where you are identifying, the body is identified with you and all. That is called Manonmaya Kosha. The Manonmaya Kosha is a very important sheath of the body. I think it is the one finally is the one propels you to do any karma and any act, as well as it gives you the desires and your the balance of sattvic, tamas and rajas are being totally guided by this. The next is the chitta. Chitta is Vijnanamaya Kosha. As we said, as we saw, it is the repository of all the information, processed information. It also stores, what happened, when and how and all. So you are able to take the right decision appropriately, because this is the right thing to do. This is what has happened, maybe in the previous birth, or in 25 years before, or in between, because sometimes earlier you had certain occasion like that. It gives you that, and it conditions your act, so that because you are able to appropriately do it, because you have got the sort of a precedence, in which it has been done, and the precedence is basically the skill, information, action, everything considered together. The Chetna, because that is Vijnanamaya Kosha, Chetna is Anandamaya Kosha. Finally, you get entire bliss. The Manonmaya Kosha, when we talked about Manas and Buddhi, it has got Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. The Jnanendriyas are ear, eye, skin, tongue and nose. These are all the Jnanendriyas which are basically externally available, and they get all the signals, vibrations, and waves. The karmendriyas are mouth, arms, legs, reproduction, and excrete. Mouth communicates, and mouth also digestive unit as just the arms. You do the things with your arms. Legs take you wherever your reproduction, the process because for our own the generations because the reproduction and excretion. Excretion also is one of the very important functions. In fact, excretion also the job assigned to devatas like Daksha and Yama, they are the devatas for excretion because it is very important function. Unless your body is getting the toxic and waste out of it, the body can't have the balance and survive. And in this context, the ahankara, which has got a maha, it is the self, which is being there. It has got the component of, because it's made of all the five elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. So these are all the ones you relate, because when you relate yourself, you relate to everything else outside the world. And these fine element, that is sound, touch, form, taste, smell, all those things, that it is being controlled, and finally it gives it to the buddhi, and buddhi process it. The manas, buddhi, and ahankara, they function, coordinate, and do this as particular aspects. So this manas, buddhi, and ahankara, when they do it, and the chetna is already is trying to get the bliss over that. The Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manonmaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, all the five koshas are like a scabbard for a sword. You've got a cover in which you put the sword. These are all the five covers. The sword is the Atman, or the body, or the what we call body, mind, and intellect together. Everything is kept in that. This sheath, it protects you from, unless all the five sheaths are being penetrated, then only any damage can happen. They are protecting you in some form or other. Physical body has been protecting, prana is there and giving the life energy. The manas, buddhi, and ahankara, they are trying to give you the proper karmas and the karma phala, you are able to take it. Chitta is always there to help you out, with all your past repository of the store of wisdom and information that is available to you, and that helps you in guiding, and that guides you also, whenever in difficult times. And finally, Anandamaya Kosha, whatever bliss you have accumulated, finally it takes over that. The purpose of upasana or meditation, whatever we do, is to get the bliss, the final bliss based on our karma. That is the most important aspect of it. For that, what we in Vaita, we have got an excellent system of the Gopi Chandana. What we are applying does do have a important meaning, and for that, Pundara is the namas what we do. Urdhva Pundara is Urdhva Mukha. It goes up. The all the three, the Gopi Chandan we apply on our stomach. It represents all the three: Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipura. And the Padma what we apply here is Anahata. And then it is the Mudra, we put it under Vishuddhi. And then Agya Chakra, where we put the Nama, it comes up to the third eye. And Sahasrara, it goes up, and we finally put Mudras. All the Mudras are being taken together with both the hands and all. When you took it, Ida, Pingala, and Sushmanadi, all of them, they get it. And finally, the Kundalini comes, the bliss grows to the Sahasrara. That is the purpose. When we do Upasana, what is finally karma and all those things when we do it? We said, Matarishva, the Keprana, who will help us in getting this to the primordial power, and who will be finally doing it. when primordial power, he does have a specific function because he is very close to the the power, who can't be touched by anything else and all. He is the one who finally conveys the effects of all our karma, the efficacy of all our karma to him. And this primordial power is fearless. He doesn't have to fear because he's controlling everything and he's faster than the mind. He's faster than all the devas, the indriyas, the devas controlling the indriyas. He is faster than the manas and he is pervading everywhere. So there is no question of it. So therefore, when he is fearless, what happens is, because we do have our own insecurities and fears which may be coming about, because when we don't know, because when we are doing, when we are in a dilemma and all those things. The fastest moving, the primordial power, which is ekam. Ekam means, as we discussed, we can recall, in the Rig Veda also what we talked about. Ekam sat vipra bauta vadanti. Vipra bauta vadanti, only one sat, it is being done. In fact, the same thing has been told by Srimad Acharya in Madhva Vijaya, in the 10th chapter, the 17th sloka. When Acharya was going with all his disciples to Badri, when he was going to Badri, after crossing Varanasi and all, they were to cross the Ganges from one bank to another. This side of the bank was ruled by Hindu king. The other side was by Muslim king, and it is said that it is some Jalaluddin Khilji. That is what historians say, but there are some disputes on that. When Acharya with his disciples crossed over to the area which was ruled by the Muslim, they were all taken by the soldiers there to the king, telling these people have crossed these places, they don't have any permission to come here. And when the king asked Acharya, what is this and how did you come? And you come from the other side, which is again ruled by this Hindu king. And Acharya said, very, very confident. He has propounded the concept of Vasudeva Kudumbakam at that point of itself. Ekam Devaha Vishwadipa. Yesham Deva Vishwapradipa. See, Ekam Deva Vishwadipa. We are all sons of same God. And we are all creation of the same God. The God is one. And He is the one who is taking care of the entire thing. There is no crossing of anyone's territory. I have come where the same creator who has created you and same creator who has created me. And we are all his creations. Therefore, no question of that he got impressed, and it is said, in fact, he offered the best part of the kingdom for him, but at least some areas, you can have your sort of establishment here, you can continue here. And of course, Acharya said, I think, thank you, because we are going on a purpose, we will have to go to Badri, and then he proceeded. That is how it goes. So this particular Ekam, he is the one and the one. There is no second. When we talk about Vaita also, it is Swatantra Advitiya Brahmavada. That's what Dr. B.N.K. Sharma has suggested, that Dvaita should be called like that. Swatantra. He is independent, he is fearless, he is powerful, all powerful and all. Advitiya, he doesn't have any number two. He is number one. And Brahmavada. With him we are taking this concept, and nothing can be, because he is the one who is ruling the entire thing. All of us is subservient, and we are all dependent on him. That concept has been the most appropriate concept at any point of time, at any place, irrespective of the kala, desha, vartamana. When he is the one, finally all our karmas have to be presented to him. We are in this world operating under his control. All that we will be doing is we will be doing the karma only. How when finally the bliss what we get, because what is the bliss? Because we have not seen the God, and we have been shown the path how to go about it and all. And we don't have to know, we have to do only karma. Life is action, action is life. Kurvan eveha karmani. Kurvan eveha. You will have to do the action. You cannot desist from doing the action. Once you have to do the action will have to have the karma phala or not, other thing, bandhana and other things. And all. Once you submit it, once you submit with your upasana to, because Matarishva, what we call Pranadevaru, he gives it to the Paramatma, and you don't get any bondage. You get the liberation. What is the liberation? Realizing your true nature and doing all your karma as per the dharma which has been established in you based on all your actions, righteous actions, and how you are getting over time and again of any obstacles that is coming about. And Pranadevara is, he can always get across and all. It is something like that. And when in this context, there is one particular episode that is being quoted is the Prahalada. The Prahalada, when he we know the story. The Hiranyakashipu was so arrogant. He didn't want even Prahalada to tell the name of Lord and all those things. Finally, when he said, "Where is the Lord?" Lord appeared from the pillar, and he was totally demolished, and he took away his intestine, and he was taking it as a mala, as described in Nakastuti, Narsimha Nakastuti by Srimad Acharya. When he has taken the avatara, the entire devas and everyone, including Brahma, Rudra, everyone wondering how to sort of assuage, how to bring him, how to this Ugragati, we'll have to come out of it. He's so Ugra. No one was able to know how to do it and all. But Prahalada was there. He didn't have any, because he knows, the power, what he knows is already come about. He went and sat on Narasimha Avatar on his lap. He doesn't have any fear because he had a pure bhakti. Once you have a pure bhakti, you will also have the fearlessness. That is the fearlessness. See, whenever we have any issue, whenever we find any difficulty in dealing with any person or any particular group or any particular circumstances, the reason for that is the insecurity and fear. These are all the only two aspects that can make people to act in a particular way in which with whom you can't comfortably deal with. The insecurity happens mainly because you feel a lot of inadequacies what we have we don't want to show. At the same time, we don't have any proper clarity as to how to go about. That is why the insecurity happens. Your inadequacy and not knowing how to go about it. The second thing is fear. The fear in the sense, look, always I want to have a particular way of life, particular way to be protected. This is how I want to proceed continuously in the life till the end. Because this is the comfort. I am more comfortable with that. My comfort. Once you have this comfort spot, you will not try to deviate. Because that is, you don't have to do too much, and at least, you are happy. In your body, mind, and intellect, you are going about it. When these two things are there, you will always have a problem. But once with upasana, when you don't have any insecurity, once you don't have a fearlessness, you offer the entire karma as offering to the Mukhya Prana, and who just takes it to the Paramatma, there is no problem about it. Finally, that is the bliss. And we don't have to know and have the bliss and who is Paramatma, how he looks like, and what is it, and all, because it has been told by Shabdas, we have internalized it, we have done Upasana, we have released it. And we don't have to know it. And to know that you don't know the Almighty itself is the knowledge. That is the knowledge we should get. Do your karma and get the bliss. The bliss, as it accumulates, every time you get the internal happiness pervading every cell of your body, that is the bliss. You get that bliss. That is the final bliss we'll have to aim at. And with the knowledge, because our inadequacy we should understand, because we know we don't know, even people who know the God, if you ask them how he looks like, because they can only give indication and sort of directions on how to go about it, as we discussed earlier. Therefore, once you know that you know you don't know, you know that you don't know, that is the ultimate bliss. At the same time, you do your karma with all the power in your under your command, with all the attention under your command, all the skill under your command that takes you. So this is finally is my happens. In Advaitis, they have also got Matarishva. We call Prana Mukhya Prana. Mukhya Prana is the Matarishva who finally takes it to them. For them, they call it Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is the creation of Ishvara as per their philosophy. And Hiranyagarbha is created by Ishvara and he does have a form. Ishvara is Nirguna, Nirakara. He doesn't have a form. And from Hiranyagarbha, the entire beings are being created and the cycle of birth and all those things are being done. Till such time they get the redemption. Redemption is involution. Finally, they get into, once they don't have to come to Hiranyagarbha, they will go to this. So Hiranyagarbha is the one who is operating. Is something like Prana, Mukhya Prana, what we call it. Finally, what they say is, you do your karma, you realize, that you know that you don't know what is doing, and you do the karma as per the powers and your command and all, and the bliss what accumulates, that is the one finally. But finally, because your indriyas, everything and all, what is finally being controlled by him, he only makes you act. It is his grace. His grace is the one that finally takes you there. When we have made the offering to Mukhya and finally he gives it, for them, it is, they give it to Hiranyagarbha and Hiranyagarbha takes care of it. These are all the ultimate reality, which we will have to understand. This is how we will have to evolve in doing our upasana, or all our practices in attaining the God. We do have next three slokas, which are taking to different stages, telling differently as to how we will have to do the upasana meditation and continue the path of realizing as well as refining our process of upasana. Thank you. With this, we will see rest of the three slokas in the forthcoming sessions next week onwards. Thank you. Before we conclude, Balraman may not be knowing, we have got Mr. Prabhakaran, who is our guru for our Sundarakandam sessions and all. His son is getting married this evening between 7 to 9:30 in New Jersey, and we will wish him all the very best and convey our sort of prayers for the entire and the future of the future happiness of this young couple. श्रीवच्चस्वस्य आयुषम् आयुषम् आरोग्यम् आविदा शुभमानं महीयते धान्यं धनं पशुं बहुपुत्रलाभं शतसंवत्सरं दीर्घमायुः. And we will complete the session with the recital of Shantipata. Om Bhurbhavasva Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.